Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Black Bear Barbell podcast. As always, I'm Jonah.
I'm Sarah.
Welcome. Before we get started today, as always, thank you so much for the incredible feedback on the last episode. Felt like that one maybe flowed a little bit better. We got into a little bit of a deeper topic.
We did.
We're getting our stride.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. I did not think we would do this for 3 straight weeks, so...
We've done it. We're building a habit.
We are indeed. Whoa.
We are building a habit.
Professional Segway champion.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about daily habits.
We are.
Before we get into that, how was your week?
It was good. It was busy.
Yeah.
But it was a good week. I felt like...
working a lot?
Been working a lot, but I've had some high moments with some of my patients, which has been nice.
There you go.
Trying to keep the stress levels down as much as possible, but there have been some good moments to carry me through, which has been really good. Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
My week was good too.
Good.
Same thing. Just staying steady with my people.
Yeah.
Staying steady with my own goals as well. I think it's just, a week like this where there's a lot of global news going on.
Yeah, it's been a tough week.
It can be definitely difficult to kind of shut down. Like my tendency is, if I get overly stressed, is to kind of just lay on the floor and not do anything. I'm a big fan of laying on the floor.
You are.
I love to ground myself.
Yes.
But I have found that staying consistent with my daily habits has actually helped a little bit more to kind of ground me and orient me towards life and help me bounce back a little bit quicker when I'm feeling super stressed out.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
So I've just been trying to do that a little bit more. Training was good this week for me in the gym. My diet's going okay. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But just all that to say, just stay the course.
Right. Right.
I think taking it one day at a time is really important. So today we're going to talk about doing that.
Right.
Taking it one day at a time. We're going to talk mostly about daily habits that you and I both have. I got some feedback from some of my friends. I asked them in one of our group chats, so I'm going to talk about some of that. Shout out to you guys if you're watching. Thank you so much. If you want to be involved in the discussion about the podcast, you can join our Discord channel. And, we talk about everything in there, but mostly talk about fitness, talk about nutrition, same kind of stuff we talk about on the on the podcast or on the on the podcast and on the channel. But before we get started, this podcast is brought to you by the Black Bear Barbell Coaching Service. Ta-da!
Yay.
I am the head coach and the only coach at the moment. But if you are looking to change your life through a structured resistance training and nutrition program, boy, do I have the guy for you. And that's me.
You're the guy.
I am the guy. So if you would like to talk about getting in the gym, getting a meal plan, understanding nutrition a little bit better, talking about wellness, talking about mental health, I would love to get in touch with you. You can email me. The email is in the description down below. You can Instagram DM me. I always start checking those as well. We can do a consultation. No money needs to change hands. We can just talk for a little bit and see what you want and what your goals are. And if I would be the right coach for you, I'd love to work with you and help you get on the path towards health and wellness.
Yep.
That's our sponsor for today. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, do you have any daily habits that you have to do every day or you feel like you're going to lose your mind?
I think for me, I'm very much a creature of routine. For me, we all live busy lives, and I think that for me, it's almost it's not habits so much as it is a way to achieve my goals.
Okay.
If I incorporate what I want to achieve in the long term as something I do a certain number of times per week or every day, it gives me more bandwidth to do things because it's just, I always do this. I always on, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I go into Mango Languages and I do a language lesson or whatever it is. I have a few things like that. And it just helps me stay consistent with working towards long-term goals without getting overwhelmed by having to plan out how am I going to achieve this? Like I'm busy enough.
Right. Yeah.
And
especially now. Like,
right.
Do you mind talking about your job? You're kind of...
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I've been working a lot more than usual.
A ton more than usual.
A ton more than usual. I'm a speech therapist, and the place where I work, there are always two speech therapists. And my coworker found a new job about probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, and she hasn't been replaced yet.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to hold down the fort.
You've been succeeding.
Yeah, I mean, this last week, it really all fell apart completely, to be honest.
Yeah,
because there's just, the caseload is really heavy right now. And it's not my fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just, we've had some interviews, and like we've got somebody who's going to be coming in a couple of weeks. So like, that's good. The end is in sight. But for the last a little over a month, I've been doing, the job of 2.5 people. Cause there's one other lady who like went on leave, and I'm helping cover some of her responsibilities. And I said yes to that before I knew I was going to be the only a department of one, essentially. So it's really been a crazy couple of weeks, and it helps to know that it's temporary.
Yep.
But yeah, it's made me put some of those like small daily goals and routines on the back burner.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you is, do you find that now you have to kind of give up some of those things?
I have.
Are there any that you like must do? Or do you just feel like, okay, now is a time in my life where I don't have any physical or mental bandwidth to do any of this type of stuff. I'll get back to it when things kind of calm down.
It kind of depends on the day, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I mean, the things that I work towards are things that I know are important to me. And so it's not that I've forgotten about them, but it's, in a day where I have the energy to do, it used to be I'd get home from work and I would have an hour and a half, 2 hours of free time essentially before I had to start making dinner.
Yeah.
Well, now I get home and it's like, God, I should have been home 20 minutes ago to start dinner at the normal time. Like there's just no extra time at all. So I used to have time to work on 2, maybe even 3 out of 3 of my, things that I am working towards. And now a lot of days it's 0 things.
Well,
and some days it's 1.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, I haven't forgotten about them. And so when there's time for one thing, I try to rotate through them.
Yeah.
Or do, 10 minutes of one thing that I haven't done in a while, but that I still know is important to me and I don't want to lose completely, and have a huge backslide in my progress.
Yeah.
Until I can get back.
What are those things? Do you mind sharing them?
So, this is really topical at the moment, but I'm learning Russian.
Yep.
And I have been for like the last 5 years on and off. It's something that I have had several periods of like great progress and then like backsliding a little bit and losing some of that. So it's been very much 2 steps forward, 1 step back for the last 5 years.
But I think, just to interject there for a second, I think that that's still successful.
Oh, sure.
Like you said with the 10-minute thing, like my outlook has always been, it's only a failure if you completely stop doing it.
Right.
It's like the stock market. Like you don't lose money until you sell.
Right.
That might not be correct, but that's my mentality. It's like, even if
fair.
Something's tanking, it's like
it'll come back.
It might come back.
It'll come back.
So that's and I'm very similar to you. I'm trying to learn Spanish as well. Mm-hmm. But my Spanish has
it's been on the back burner
been on the back burner for a long time. And I have Spanish clients, so I'll talk to them a little bit. But in terms of like actively studying, it's definitely on the back burner. But I haven't quit.
Right.
Because every now and again, I got a couple textbooks or I'll pull out the language learning app that we use and do a lesson. And even one of those lessons is enough to be like, I am still in the process of doing this.
Right.
That's true. And I think it's important to know about like neuroplasticity and the fact that, the 2 principles of neuroplasticity that I talk about most with my patients at work, use it or lose it, which we all know, if you're not using a particular synapse, it will be pruned.
Yep.
It's going to go away. But then there's also use it and improve it. And so, it's just, you got to keep
using it a little bit
Yeah.
to keep that synapse around.
That's the main thing.
And then just keep working it, and it will become, stronger and stronger. You just can't let it go completely. Otherwise, you will lose it.
But my thing that's really hard for me personally, because I'm a very all or nothing type of person, especially like with my hobbies even. Like that's been a problem with me in the past, is I'm trying to think of one where it's like I fall into something so hard. I spend so much money on the gear, and like then 3 weeks later, I'm not doing it anymore. And it's like, oh my God, I wasted so much money. I wasted so much mental energy, and now I've just completely stopped. So for me, it's saying, okay, first of all, I'm not going to spend money on this unless like I give myself a hard cap of like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like if I'm still doing this thing in 3 months, then I can kind of upgrade my gear.
Invest in it,
or invest in it is a better way to say that. But the other thing is, even if I take like a 2 to 3 week break, forcing myself to just come back to it even a little bit. And like you said, just keep using it and not let the stuff that I've already learned deteriorate even further.
Right. Like and right now is one of these times for me. There are times when the focus is just maintaining what how far you've come already.
Maintenance is really important.
I just need to like hold on to this. I've gotten really good over the last few months. I just can't let it slip.
Right.
This is a temporary phase that I'm in where I'm not going to be able to really devote the time that I want to, but I can maintain where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then, I can go back into progress mode once life is kind of back to normal.
I think learning how to properly maintain things is life. Like that, like if you can hold on to a certain amount of progress and not backslide, that is so great.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the times is you reach a certain point, and I always talk about this in a weight loss context, where you reach a certain point of weight loss and then you don't understand how to properly maintain that.
And that's when
you bounce back up. So that's why you see so many people going back and forth.
Right.
And you can equate that to anything, not just weight loss. Like learning a language is very much like that. Learning a new skill. Like for me, when I'm editing these videos every week has helped me kind of keep my chops up from, I went to school for this. Like I learned editing in school.
Yeah.
But I hadn't edited anything in like 2 years until I started this channel.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe not 2 years, but
But it had been a
long time.
Yeah.
And so it was basically like trying to start over until I got to a certain point, and then it became, my brain kind of clicked back on and was like, oh, I remember how to do this.
Yeah.
But now every week I'm editing, and it's becoming so much faster, and I'm not losing anything in between. So I just think that maintenance aspect is something that's like game changing.
Right.
And it's something that I'm still trying to work on, and with the Spanish thing especially, it's just every 3 days at least try and do something.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was a point, when I had the time where I was trying to spend 20 to 30 minutes every day doing something.
Yeah.
And I have a couple
of
ideally
you would like to do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I have a couple of different modalities. I mean, I use the Mango languages on my phone. I have my old Russian textbook from college, literally, that I'm still working through. I've got, some dual language short story books that I read, which really gives me a headache because I'm not good enough to be doing that yet, but you have to do that. And I'm not doing any of that particular item right now because it's just too much for the bandwidth that I have.
That's another great point, is like in these modalities that you're using, you have to use the ones that is not going to completely cripple you.
Right. You have to modulate the difficulty level of what you're doing
100%.
According to how you feel at the time. And right now,
that's so true.
I'm for, review and simple lessons, and that's what I get on the phone app, and that's pretty much all I'm doing. I haven't even pulled out the textbook, which it's a level 1 textbook, which is very simple and wonderful. I love using it. But yeah, the dual language like I'm not at a point where
I feel like that would be so hard.
I can read a short story by Nikolai Gogol in Russian and English and try and piece together how the grammar's working. I just there was a point where I was really giving that a go, and it was really great, and it's just that's not where I'm at right now, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, the book is on my bookshelf. I'll pull it out eventually when I'm ready.
Right, you didn't get rid of it. You still have it.
And I know I'll die with that on my bookshelf. I mean, that's a great book.
But the thing, I just think that being honest with yourself and asking yourself. So it's always, for me, decision making is always tiered. Is this something I want to do? Is always the first thing I ask. Like, you have to get out of the mindset that you should do something because one, your friends or your parents or your family tells you that you need to be doing it, or society, however grandiose you want to look at it. You have to get out of that. Is this something that you enjoy doing for whatever reason? Is it going to make you a better person in your own eyes? Is it going to help your interpersonal relationships? Whatever filter you have to go through. If yes, then it becomes, okay, then how do you attack it?
Yeah.
And if you attack it by doing something as small as something for 5 minutes every 3 days, that's totally fine.
And for me, that was what, until work got so crazy, I felt like I was making some of the best progress I'd made since college when I was taking a Russian class for, 2 hours twice a week. Was having made it into a habit because, for like 2 or 3 years, it was, whenever I get the flash of inspiration, I'm going to spend an hour and a half studying really hard, and then I'm not going to do it again, like once a month.
Yeah.
Like that would like the stars would align, and I would have the time and energy to do like a crazy long
binge of studying.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where the 2 steps forward, 1 step back was really happening for me, and changing it to keep it simple.
Yes.
20, 30 minutes.
Yes.
Chip away at it, because this is a long-term thing.
That's so good right there. Yeah.
It just changed it completely for me. So turning
100%.
the goal into a habit really helped.
Leave yourself with a little bit of mental energy after the session.
Yeah.
Like, don't, every now and again you can really push. And I'll talk about this in a weightlifting context because that's what I know. Every now and again, you can functionally overreach, is what we call it. You can purposefully push yourself past that point of, oh, this is really going to mess me up. But that's not an everyday thing.
Oh,
because you burn out, and then you're not in the gym for another 2 weeks after that, or you're not studying because you just physically you can't think about it. Right. So leave yourself with some of that mental energy. Say, okay, I did my 30 minutes. I feel good. I learned some stuff, but I can still think straight. I'm going to go at it again tomorrow. That's huge. With anything that you're trying to learn. The tendency and the temptation, especially for me as very all or nothing, is like, I'm going to do 4 hours of this today and I'm going to crush this. But then I'm going to literally have no energy for the next 3 days to do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the evidence shows that if you do something every day, you pick it up much faster. Your brain has a chance to work through that information. You sleep on the information every day. It becomes more long-term memory rather than short-term memory.
Right.
So it's like getting out of that headspace of like, oh, I'm going to just kill this today, and then sleeping for the next 4 days because you did something too hard.
Right.
And that's not to say that like, it should still be difficult. It should still be challenging. It's not I'm going to whip my phone out and read 2 Russian words and then I'm going to be done.
Right.
Get to that point of effort and then understand, okay, I've done that, and now I can kind of back off a little bit.
Right. You're still learning, you're still thinking, you're still engaged, but it's not to the point where you like can't, ever do it again.
Right. Right. So do you have any, like, outside of habits, do you have any things that like, so I'll start with this one,
okay.
but in the morning when I first wake up, and I've done a lot of research on morning routines, and I'm a very poor sleeper, so I try and get my circadian rhythm more active.
Yeah, you do.
Starting with going to sleep, and then what I do in the morning to kind of wake myself back up. My schedule is really weird because I work in the mornings as a trainer. So I start at 5:30. I used to start at 5. Thank God I've pushed it back about a half hour. But I'm up usually every day like 4:45, 4:30. And so the sun's not up.
Yeah.
So one big thing that I do, and I got this from the Huberman Lab podcast. Andrew Huberman's a scientist at Stanford. It's great. You should listen to that podcast. It's very cool. But he did an episode on sleep and the importance of light early in the morning when you wake up. And in the inverse, low light as you're about to go to bed or like a couple hours before. So we have these Hue bulbs that I set up to dim at a certain point about 2 hours before I want to be asleep. And I think that helps. But then in the morning, obviously you're still asleep when I get up. So
Nothing wakes me up though.
But still, I come downstairs and I turn on the brightest fluorescent light we have, which is the kitchen light. and I spend some time in that environment, an overhead bright light trying to kind of trigger, okay, it's time to wake up.
Like the sun is up.
Yeah. And it doesn't sound like that would be a daily habit, but it really is for me. That's something
amazing.
that sets me going. And then another thing I'll do is kind of think through, and it doesn't have to be very in depth, but like think through how I want my sessions to go with my clients for the day. Like, okay, I know who's coming in today. This person has this injury. This person's working on this, just so that I can kind of get myself oriented to them before I see them. Because I see usually like 11 to 12 people a day. And so it can all run together. So I look at their schedule on my phone and look through the names and kind of reorient myself. And then I do that for my own training. I look at what my workout is going to be, and I think through, okay, I was struggling on the deadlift last week. I really want to work on my technique here, or I'm really excited to push my weight here. Those are my two big things. And I think that's helped me immensely.
That's great.
Yeah. So whatever it is, I would say that you hear about all these Sigma grind sets and all these like, oh, wake up at 3 a.m. and do 300 push-ups and take a cold shower. It's like, it doesn't have to be that serious.
I can't work out in the morning. Like, right. I feel like I'm going to die if I work out in the morning.
My thing has always been,
I'm never going to do that.
Individualize your goals.
Right.
That's why I said before, like, don't let anybody tell you that you should be doing this thing. Find the thing that works for you and take some time to figure that out. I tried the super early wake up. I tried the 4 a.m. wake up, some cardio, absolutely destroyed me. Sleep was terrible, feeling horrible. So the cardio benefits that I was getting were being wiped out by the fact that I was sleeping 4 hours a night.
Yeah.
So why would I do that? You know?
Right.
So if you have a job that you need to be mentally there and present, maybe waking up 3 hours before that and doing a lot of mentally taxing work is not something that you should be doing, right?
That's a great point.
Figure out when, another thing that I like to do is like break up my day into high effort mental work and low effort mental work. So in the mornings, I'm pretty on, I have my caffeine, I'm good. So I do my high effort mental work usually in the mornings. I'll do my run throughs, I'll read, I'll do whatever. My work is usually 5 to 11. So I'm working with my clients then. But then I start to taper. I have my caffeine for pre-workout. And then by the time I come home, I'm mentally and physically exhausted.
Right. Because you've just done a crazy 2-hour workout, probably.
And I've done work and all that stuff.
Right.
So that's when we kind of shift into rest mode. I do some tasks around the house that are very no impact mentally. I can kind of just put myself on autopilot.
Like put the dishes
away, whatever it is, vacuum, start a little laundry. I can do that stuff in my sleep, right? And then I kind of get another burst of energy around like dinner time. So if there's anything that I want to do, like editing or, something for the business, I'll do another hour of that and then kind of shut it off by 7 and really turn my brain off. So just setting your day into chunks of like when you are at your best, utilize that because you're not at your best all day. But when you are, take advantage of it, you know?
And I find with myself, I don't know, I get tired after lunch, but I have to work.
Yeah, you still
you just kind of have to push through. But I kind of find when I've got some momentum going, I'm one of those people that I can go and go and go and go until I stop.
Yeah, and then you're done.
And then if I stop, I can't start again. And so, for example, when I get home from work, back when life was normal, if I sat down on the couch and I say, I'm just going to spend 10 minutes on Instagram, relaxing after, a day of working hard.
Yeah.
I'm there on the couch until it's time to start cooking dinner.
That's what we call it.
2 hours might have gone by, right?
The doom scroll gets you.
It really does.
Yeah.
And so I kind of had figured out that, you get home from work, you say, oh, hello, how was your day? It was good, great. My day also was good. Stay standing up, walk upstairs into my work or to my desk, basically. My desk and the exercise equipment are in the same room.
Yep.
And so I can either sit down at my desk and do some of my, personal learning, or I can do a workout for that day. And it's like, I don't sit on the couch.
Yep.
I, make a snack if I'm hungry. And I go right up to my work area. And then I'm fine. And then I can, do the goals that I'm going to work on for that day, come downstairs, make dinner, and then relax after dinner because, by the time I've, sat down, eaten dinner, like, okay, we're in relax mode. And then we go into the nighttime routine of like what I'm doing to get ready for bed or just like winding down at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that's what I've kind of learned about myself. Like if I'm going to do these routines and habits that I know that I want, like cognitively, I know I want to do these things, but I know also about myself that if I lose my momentum, I'm not going to do them.
Yeah.
I'm just done for the day.
But that's good to be honest about that.
It is. You got to know how you work.
You have to know your optimal work situation. Mm-hmm. Like take some time at the end of your day to just audit when you felt like you were at your best and when your energy was really dragging.
Or like on a day when like, man, today was a great day.
What changed? What was different, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it wasn't perfect, but I feel like today was a good day. What did I do to make it a good day?
Yeah.
Or God, today really sucked. I screwed it up today. I did a terrible thing. I scrolled for 3.5 hours on Instagram and I did nothing that I was supposed to do. I'm starving because it's 8 o'clock and I haven't eaten dinner. What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And then you can figure out what it is that actually does work and doesn't work.
I'll say, hopefully you'll be able to do that with a positive day. But the way that humans work is you're probably going to get more fruitful information from a negative day. Yeah. You remember the bad things more than you do the good things.
But I think you can't beat yourself up about it. Like everybody has a bad day, but it's like, man, today, not my best. How can I make tomorrow better?
Have an honest discussion with yourself. Don't blame yourself.
Right.
It happened.
It's not a bad thing.
Right. There shouldn't be guilt associated with it.
It's a learning opportunity.
Yes.
It's a learning opportunity.
That's the way to look at it. And I've had some great, like, understanding that I can't wake up that early came from one of those days. Mm-hmm. The day was just absolute garbage. Yeah. And I was like, listen, I've tried this 4 a.m. wake up thing for 3 straight days and I have hit a wall. And I had to honestly say, okay, maybe this just, this alpha male get up and go, that's not for me. Yeah. If it's for you, great. That's awesome. I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you. But for me, it's like, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. I need 7 to 8 hours of sleep and I'm not willing to go to bed any earlier.
You're telling me.
Right? So I'm going to push my wake up time back. I'm still able to do what I want to do in the morning. I'm still getting to work on time. Great.
That's fine.
No problem.
That's a good routine.
Right.
It's working for you.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Good.
Like find what works for you. That's the main thing. I hate this, like, unfortunately on social media, you have all these people that are like,
my productive 5 a.m. wake up routine.
I do this and that.
For
and,
you.
I'm 300,000 push-ups in 2 hours. And I'm like, dude.
I do want to have a chance to try getting to waking up a little bit earlier than I do so that I can be like that girl and and see if it works for me. Right. Because right now my morning is kind of hectic. Rushed.
Yeah. But I think you could stand, it doesn't have to be an hour. It could be an extra 15 minutes.
Right. And I want to try that. And I was trying that and then work got crazy. Yeah. And I just had to be honest with myself and say, you know what? Now's not the right time.
Right, exactly.
You don't need to wake up at 5:15 right now.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
You're working 10 hours a day or more sometimes. Now's not the right time.
100%.
Now is not the right time.
And I remember when you first started that.
I was miserable.
And I was like, I think I even told you, I was like, listen, you don't have to wake up that early.
Right.
You know?
Not right now.
Not right now.
Maybe
some other time, but not right now.
Now's not the time. And that's okay.
100%.
It's fine. I have the rest of my life to wake up at 5:15 if that's really what I decide I want to do and that it works for me. But now is not the right time.
Yeah. How do you decide what to do? Mm-hmm. Right? That was my big thing was like, oh, I know that some of these daily habits are important. Well, how do
you decide which ones work for you and which ones are like, nah,
right.
I don't want to do that.
It all starts with your values. Right?
Okay,
like what in life do you value more than anything else? Mm-hmm. Right? Come up with a list. Actually physically write them out. Like if you were doing, like this is straight out of Atomic Habits. If you've read that book, great. If not, go read it. It's really good. You should read it.
I haven't read it.
Well, yeah, you should.
Okay. Book of the week.
Book of the week. There you go. Atomic Habits. Even before we got to that segment. But basically, write out your habits as if you were going to start a business and like write out your business statement and your core values, like treat yourself as a business. So for me personally, like one of the main values I have is assisting in education and general assistance of people with their fitness journeys. Like taking someone from, I want to make this change in my physical health or my mental health or my nutrition, and bringing them to, I have made this change. I want to be the bridge in between there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's got to be as specific as that. Then once you have that value set up, your actions are informed from that value. So like I talked about, that mental checklist of the sessions that I do in the morning, that's one of my core habits because it is informed by my core values, right? And that's why it works. If it was like I woke up and played the flute because for 20 minutes, I would stop playing the flute in like 2 days if I made it that far because I don't give a damn about playing the flute.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
it's a
Maybe
great instrument.
Flute's a great
I used
instrument.
to play the flute.
Great instrument. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
I
that
clearly didn't value it because I don't play it anymore.
my value has nothing to do with that. But if you value making music to enjoy for the enjoyment of other people, then you will play the flute.
Right.
Right. But you have to first know what your value is. Like what, and you can have multiple. Like obviously that's not my only one. I have tons of other
You have
values.
a lot of values.
But this is a fitness podcast at its core, so we're talking about that. But I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. There's the old adage like make your bed or whatever it is.
You know, my mom sent that to me.
Oh, yeah?
I was talking to her last night about like this topic and
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about habits tomorrow on the podcast. And like, do you have any? And she's like, oh, I just always think about that guy, the Marine who said like, make your bed. And like,
that was a while ago.
If you want to change the world,
Yeah.
make your bed. Like it's productive. It's positive. It sets you up for the
Yeah.
day. I don't know exactly what the quote is. She sent me the whole quote, but it was great. It's very inspiring.
That's great if you value an orderly room, an orderly domicile.
I do.
If you value cleanliness.
I do.
Right. But for me, someone who thrives a little bit more in chaos, I don't really value that type of stuff. Yeah. So because I love you and we're married, I take some of your values on. So I do participate in some of that, the cleanliness and but I don't care. So when I was living by myself, making my bed really didn't set me up for success.
Yeah.
But it has to be something that you deem as productive. Right? So it could be making your bed. It could be,
for me, it's making sure the sink is clear at night. The kitchen sink specifically.
Kitchen sink, but that informs your morning.
Right. If I wake up and there's like one dirty bowl
God forbid.
that I wake up to in the morning, it ruins my entire day.
Go back to bed.
It's like the entire house is covered in a layer of dirt and grime. Everything is
Which
terrible.
Is 100%
I'll never catch up.
Oh my God. That's
hyperbolic. It is, but that's how I feel.
I know.
And that is my truth.
I know. I know.
And so every night, it's part of my like nightly routine and habits.
Yeah.
Is that all of the dishes are washed.
Yeah.
They're in the dishwasher or they're washed by hand and they're drying. Like the counters are clear. There are no dirty dishes anywhere.
Right.
They are all clean and they are put away.
I think that's great. And then that helps your morning run smoother.
It just makes me feel better about how the next day is going to go.
Right.
It's like we're starting off on the right foot. And I think that's the same idea as making the bed. You know, it's like
exactly.
The day's starting off on the right foot. It's like, okay, the bed is made.
Yep.
There is nothing dirty.
Right.
We can go from here.
I think that's 100% a good way to look at it because, the make your bed thing, it's more so a principle than it is an actual go and make your bed.
Right.
Go and do something that you deem productive.
That's quick.
That is quick and is going to be a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Is going to be something that you deem as successful.
And it's going to impact the rest
of your day. That's the thing. Start yourself off with a good old, oh, wow, I did something good today.
Like, yeah.
We are chemically driven people. Get that rush of dopamine, baby. Feel it. And then let that inform the rest of your day, right?
Yeah.
100%. So I reached out to some of my friends.
Hey, friends.
Thank you for watching. And just asked them if they had any daily habits that they thought informed the rest of their day. And so I'm going to read a couple of those. If you want to be included, I think we talked about this already.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Jump on the Discord or leave a comment.
Yeah, and if you comment on the video, we'll talk about it at the beginning of next
video.
Week.
Yeah. So one of my friends, we're not going to use names because who wants to be private and who doesn't. But they sent a detailed list, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
So wake up at least 2 hours before I have to be anywhere or do anything.
I like that.
That's great. Again,
I think that depends on what time you start work.
Right.
Like if you start work at 9 and you wake up at 7, this is reasonable.
If you start work at 5:30,
7.
right.
I'm not.
We've
already talked about. I tried to wake up at 5. I'm not there right now.
Not a great thing for us, but a great thing for this person.
Excellent.
Which, again, it has to be personal.
So what do they do in this amount of time?
So wake up, make coffee.
Got to make coffee.
Excellent. Not only are you getting your caffeine hit, but it's you're doing something.
Do you want to know my weirdest daily habit?
Yes.
I drink my coffee in the car.
Yes, I'm
in
aware.
a regular coffee mug.
Yeah, you're chaotic.
That is the most chaotic thing,
dude,
about me.
That is so bold. There's no lid.
No,
it doesn't fit in the cup holder because it's got a handle.
It's a regular coffee mug, so I have to hold it.
That makes me so sad.
And I'm driving down the interstate.
Yeah, please don't do that anymore.
Well, I use really large coffee mugs for 10 ounces of coffee.
I don't care.
So at most, they're half full.
I'm more so worried about you driving with one hand on the wheel and one hand on a cup of Joe.
It takes me like 10 minutes to finish the coffee. Like it's really not that big of a deal.
Still.
But yeah, that is my most chaotic.
I know,
daily
and
habit.
I see you do that, and I'm just like, this is insanity.
I don't even know how it started. But I've been doing it for
because we don't have any
years.
mugs, or we don't have any like travel mugs.
We had some.
Yeah, but they got
I
dirty.
don't like to use them for anything other than water because
Which
then
doesn't make sense.
The little door gets gunky and you can't clean it properly, and it just
Again,
makes
we're
me
back to
upset.
the cleaning.
Yeah, this is a huge value of mine.
Anyway, make coffee. So I think that that's actually great, and it's really cool that he included that.
Is
because
is
he's
this
not
one of those people who's
right,
like a
I was about to say,
pour-over?
yes. He's
Zen
not
coffee?
putting a pod in his Keurig and just pressing go.
Like this is like artistic.
Whatever it is, drip coffee, whatever. Like I made coffee with him when we were together when we went on vacation.
I know who this is.
Yes.
I know who this
very much a process.
Like weighing out the beans, smelling the beans to know for sure that they were sourced
your
ethically.
your traditional coffee hoe.
Really beautiful, and it tastes great. I mean, I mean, it's so good.
Shout out to you, buddy.
Oh, love it.
Number 3,
That's great.
Read something. Usually try and do a portion of fiction and a portion of nonfiction every day. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine that is because he values educating himself, right? So it always goes back to that value system.
Same thing.
Right. Reading, for me, I try to do a little bit of mindfulness meditation, read a devotional, something like that turns my brain on.
I do that too.
Number 4, meditate. There we go. Either generally or on something from my reading. That's interesting. So I like that a lot too, because it's not just like as I get older, I realize that reading, especially nonfiction, can just kind of go in one ear and out the other, unless you're really digesting the information.
Yeah.
Right. Like I read a ton of stuff that I'm like, oh my God, I read about that. I don't even remember, unless I'm
like that with some books too. It depends on the book.
I think you're better at reading than I am.
I mean, I'm pretty good at reading.
Yeah. So you but I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. But it depends. Some books are just there for enjoy. Like I read a lot of thrillers.
Right.
When I don't want to think about
like
something.
fiction.
Right. But some fiction, like right now I've been slowly making my way through a Flannery O'Connor's short stories. And a lot of them are really heavy.
Yeah.
Really heavy. And it's like I read a lot. I can't read more than 1 or 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot to think about and like meditate on. I mean, there really is.
Yeah. So
even if it is fiction.
But I think that's really cool. And then finally, write something, anything. And this guy works in a creative space. So writing, I mean, something and anything is really, really important because you can get yourself so down on this isn't good enough. This isn't going to be good enough. Why do I even try? Who cares?
You've got to just go.
Just put something on the page.
Yeah. You can fix it later.
Right. You'll fix it. You fix it in editing.
Yeah.
And then number 6 is profit. Amen. Right. So that I think that's great. That's really well written out. And and the fact that you can send me a list like that.
I love this game of guess who the friend is by the habit because I didn't know
who
this
you didn't know who it was?
I know who it is.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
I'll confirm with you later, but I know who this is.
But so this is what I would encourage you guys to do is just take a weekend day. Like take a day where you don't have anything else to do. Wake up in the morning and ask yourself, how do I make this day the most productive and the most enjoyable? Those two things together.
Well, and I think to have a list of habits that somebody who knows you but doesn't know that these are your habits and can guess that it's you really shows that you're aligning that with your values.
Right, 100%. We could read that list and know who that is because we know that person and we know what they value.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's such a
excellent.
testament to personalizing
Yes.
your habits.
And that's where I want people to be. I want you guys to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Find your values first and then inform your actions from your values. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. That's our talk on habits.
Yeah.
That was great. I had a fun time. Hope you guys enjoyed that as well. We're going to talk a little bit more about some general stuff, but if you have daily habits that you want to tell us about, we'd love to read them out on the show. Go ahead and comment them down below, or you can get in contact us. You know, it's the age of social media, man. DM us both on Instagram or whatever.
Oh, can I read this?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so back to my mom. She sent me a really great
shout out to all
quote.
the moms out there.
Shout out to moms. She found this randomly this morning in her photos on her phone, but she sent it to me because we'd been talking about daily habits, and I just really like it.
Read it.
Here it is. It says, first, it's an intention, then a behavior, then a habit, then a practice, then second nature, and then it's simply who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you can get when you're starting from a place of what are my values.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you're wanting to better yourself, you're wanting to align with your values and create a better version of yourself. And then it's who you are over time.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Don't expect this to be like I did this for a weekend and now
it aligns with my values, so boom, I'm gonna do it every day forever.
Because even if it does align with your values, and even if you were put on this earth to do that thing, it's still hard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that it's easy to do it.
Absolutely,
it is still incredibly difficult to get up out of bed and do that thing every day.
Oh yeah.
So just give yourself grace in the process of figuring out what you want to be doing on a daily or on a weekly basis. You know, it doesn't have to be every day. Yep. Something that you do because it's something that you believe in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. All right. Now that's really everything.
That's really everything. So today, in lieu of book of the week and movie of the week,
we're going to talk about
Sarah
our
and I
favorite show.
Have been hooked, man.
We're going to watch an episode after
right after we finish. I'm so happy to finish this podcast because then we get to watch it.
So excited.
Sarah and I are watching Love is Blind Japan. Okay,
don't waste your time with the U.S. version. We haven't watched it, but seems like garbage.
Here's the thing: I'm not a huge reality TV fan, but I am a love fan. I'm a soft little boy.
You are.
For some reason, romance stories,
You're
just
so sweet.
Pride and Prejudice, dude. Cry every time.
Pride and Prejudice.
Just absolutely
That's
love it.
one of my favorite things about you is that you love Pride and Prejudice.
I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm a soft boy.
You are.
But so I don't like the
drama.
Like The Bachelor can kiss it.
I used to love that.
Get that
I'm
shit
too
out of
old
here.
for that now.
No, garbage can.
Too old.
Too overly edited. Garbage. People are on there just to be
famous.
Go get your bag. That's totally fine. I don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
We were looking on Netflix for a show, and I watch a lot of anime. So Japanese usually, I'm like, oh yeah, I like to listen to Japanese. The trailer came on. I was like, okay, I don't want to scroll anymore. The food's getting cold.
Right. It was like a decision fatigue moment. It's like, you know what? This is what's highlighted. Just play it. I don't even care. Just play it.
And
we're hooked.
Oh man, it was incredible. So the premise of Love is Blind is literally they're trying to determine if you can fall in love with someone without ever seeing them. So there's 15 guys and 15 girls, and they have like speed dating or like dating, but they can't see each other.
They're in different rooms.
They're in different rooms in pods, and they're speaking over an earpiece.
Like rooms that are facing each other, and there's
like a glass,
but
an
you
opaque.
can't see through it.
No, you can't see.
It's totally opaque, but it simulates a window.
And the only way that you get to see the other person is if you ask them to marry you. And then once you meet the other person, you go on a retreat for 3 days.
Like a vacation. Like luxury hotel.
And then you go live together for 3 weeks.
And then you get married.
So
which is so intense.
Insane. It is insane. But I think there's something about the Japanese culture that allows it to be a little bit more low key than I would imagine the American version is. There's a Brazilian version as well that we're going to watch.
I can't wait to watch that.
And I imagine that one is going to be fierce.
I'm interested to see how it is.
It's because every culture I think is very different, and the culture of dating in Japan,
it's very serious.
Very serious.
Like they'll talk in their talking heads. They'll be like, I've really thought about the questions that I'm going to ask so that I can find out what my values are and what their values are and find a good marriage partner.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
And I would imagine
the
American
reality TV show.
Right. The American version is like, I wonder if he's hot. His voice is kind of sexy. It's like, shut up, dude.
Exactly what I pictured.
Like,
or like, oh, Amanda.
Yeah.
thinks he's hot too, but I think he's hotter, so I'm gonna make him love me. You know,
Right.
like all of this conniving type of stuff like you get on The Bachelor.
And there's none of that
None
in
of
the
that.
Japanese version.
It is so pure.
It is, and we could be getting duped and completely bamboozled, and they wrote the whole thing out. Totally fine. I don't care at this point.
I don't care.
Because it's so entertaining. And when I say that I have fallen in love with some of these couples,
I cried last night.
You've cried multiple times. Almost every episode. Not like one single tear, like weeping.
No, not that
Yes,
bad. But
it
like
was-
I've definitely been tearing up.
Last night you were
I teared up
bawling.
3 separate times.
Yeah.
I
But-
wasn't bawling.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
not.
All right.
Let's not be crazy here. But I did tear up, and
Tears were flowing.
If you know, I'm always willing to admit when I cry. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I cry a lot.
Yeah.
I teared up.
So it's just there's something very special about a lot of them have been married before or have had long-term
Yeah.
relationships before that didn't work. And so you can see their insecurities from those old relationships, and they're trying to work through with another person who they cannot see. Just imagine that. You and I have been together
Yeah.
for like 11 years.
Yeah.
I've spent the majority of my life, more of my life alive with you than not.
Right.
Right?
Well, and we were friends for years
Yeah.
before we ever started dating.
But, but like I don't know how long they spend in the pods. I think it's like 5 days.
It's not long.
Not long at all to try and work through. Is this someone that I can
Marry.
Which is
Yeah.
just
Well,
wild.
and it's really interesting to see some of their reactions when they do see each other for
Yeah.
the first time, because some of them are very taken aback.
So there's a blonde guy.
I wasn't sure if we were going to spoil
Oh, we're gonna
it or
talk.
not.
We're spoiling it a little
But yeah,
bit.
there was a blonde guy,
Yeah, and he falls in love with this girl.
and he didn't tell her.
He didn't tell her that. And
in Japan, that's like, very
Right.
punk rock.
right, very punk rock. Is
Very
the thing.
punk rock.
And he's kind of a punk rock looking guy. But
Yeah.
when they met,
She was scared.
she was scared.
She
and
like took steps back, and
she
they joke
walked
about
away
it
from
later,
him.
so it's
Yeah.
funny.
But it was so funny. And she tells him like, my parents are going to be so shocked when they meet you.
What she told him is, my parents are very direct.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that. But it's just those types of things where the culture, I think, is what really impacts my enjoyment of the show and why I don't think I would like the American version.
Yeah.
Because of the serious nature of, and I don't know. I could go on about this
It's
forever.
just very sweet.
It is very
It's
sweet.
just heartwarming.
It is.
It just is very happy.
Yeah. So if you're looking for something,
That's gonna make you smile
and also apparently
and
make you
cry
cry
a little bit,
So
but
yeah.
like in a good way.
I don't know. Go check it out. If you've seen the English version and the American version and
It's
you like
totally
it,
different.
tell us why you like it and
Yeah.
we could give it a shot. I mean, we're always looking for new stuff to watch.
My sister watched the American version.
Oh, really? What'd you think?
She told me yesterday on the phone. She's like, "Yeah, the American version finale comes out tonight. I've watched the rest of it, so I have to watch the finale, but I'm not that excited about it."
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I
It was like
I
the
would just
drama. She
imagine
just
this
wasn't that
more.
into it.
It's more like traditional U.S.
Yeah.
overproduced reality shows. Dude,
Right.
Japanese reality shows, bro, like Terrace House.
Terrace House rocks.
Guys, stop watching American reality shows. First of all, watch English and Japanese, like English UK and Japanese reality shows if you're looking for reality TV.
Welcome back to Love Island.
Love
That's
Island,
the one.
and that's dramatic, like that's over drama, but it's so well done
It is.
that like I can handle it.
Yeah.
Like this.
Well, I don't know. There's drama to it, but it's pretty low key production wise.
yeah.
It's like they're just in the villa
Yeah.
and that's it.
I'm not a huge reality TV show fan, but this really got me. So if you
Yeah.
want something
It's good.
different, if you're tired of scrolling through Netflix while your food gets cold,
And
like
if our
I was,
recommendation from last week, Euphoria, isn't for you,
yeah,
this one is.
I feel like Euphoria is probably not for a lot of people, but
But this one is for everyone.
yeah, I think everybody
If
could
you
get something out of it.
love,
Yeah.
this is for you.
What if they don't love?
Then don't watch
Then
it.
don't
Then
watch
watch
it.
Euphoria.
Yeah, if you love chaos and drugs, Euphoria is for you. If you love love,
We've really hit both ends of the spectrum on this.
my thing is like
segment.
I watch everything,
Yeah.
so I will give anything a go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm glad that we gave this a shot.
I am too, and I've learned some great new Japanese phrases, so that's
You
also
have.
thrilling.
Don't say them.
I'm not going to.
Okay, good.
I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Yeah, because we don't know if they're actually.
I don't know.
We're just kind of picking up
yeah.
random words here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Love Is Blind. That's Daily Habits. Thank you so much again for tuning in to another episode. 3 episodes, 3 weeks down. Who would have thought that we'd be doing this for this long?
We're going to keep doing it.
We are going to keep doing it. I have no idea what we're going to talk about next week. If you have suggestions on topics that you'd like us to discuss, again,
let us know.
Comments, baby. That's what they're there for. Please do that. That would mean a lot. Like the video, share this podcast around. We're working on getting just the audio up on like Spotify or whatever, so that if you wanted to listen to just audio, you could.
Yeah.
I don't know. No promises. I don't want more work.
We're looking into it.
I don't want more work to do, but maybe.
How hard could it be? I don't know.
Who knows, man?
I don't edit these things.
Right.
I don't know how it works.
You just get to sit on camera and look pretty. I have to do all the rest of the work.
I've had some great things to say.
You have, but so maybe we'll get some audio stuff out there, maybe not. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a good weekend.
Yeah.
I will see you next week.
Next week.
Friday, 6 a.m. Be there or be square. Maybe later in the morning.
You can watch it at any point. Yeah, you don't have to watch it at 6 a.m.
You got to watch it when it comes out or it doesn't count. Thank you guys so much. I've been Jonah. This has been the Black Bear Barbell Podcast. You want to say goodbye?
Bye. I'm Sarah.
She is indeed Sarah. Yeah. Have a great rest of your day. Get strong.
Bye, guys.
Stay strong. See ya.